Oshio, welcome to the Red Road East. I'm your host, Fierce Truth Seeker. Well, I know it's been a long time that you've seen any recent episodes due to COVID-19. Uh, the studio is closed down, so everything's done remotely. And as y'all know, my Achilles heel is technology. So, I'm still getting used to all of this stuff, Um, but, I'm here. And, again, I apologize for the wait. And so today we're supposed to have a guest because we were supposed to talk about the Canarsee Indians. Okay. And the guest canceled out at the last minute. She is actually a Canarsee Indian, one of the last of the Canarsee Indians. However, there was a miscommunication, and so she wasn't able to make it today. So what I had to do, I had to at the very last minute. I do know a little bit about the Canarsee Indians. However, I haven't done extensive research on the Canarsee Indians. So therefore, at the last minute, I'm talking about like literally at the last minute, like last night, I did some research and took some notes. So basically, today's show, I'll be relaying some of those notes that I took, information that I had come across, and also get into some current affairs going on. Okay, so without further ado, I guess we can talk about who are the Canarsee Indians. Okay, for those of y'all who are from Brooklyn, you've heard of Canarsie because Canarsie is one of the neighborhoods in Brooklyn. Okay, I'm originally from Brooklyn. Okay, so Canarsie, but what a lot of people don't know is that Canarsie was actually the name of an indigenous tribe in Brooklyn. Okay, and the Canarsie, they're actually a part of the Lenape Indians. Okay, who are part of the Delaware Nation. Okay, and so the Canarsie Indians of Brooklyn, they lived in Kings and Queens County. Okay, and a little bit about them. Their primary occupation was hunting and gathering. Okay, with specialties in fur trading and fishing. Okay, and the name Canarsie in the Algonquian or Lenape language means fenced in community. Okay, and so now with the Canarsie, what a lot of people don't know too. Like I used to live in Midwood, Brooklyn, and not too far from them. From them, I'm bugging. Not too far from there is a long street, that connects you to a lot of different parts. Um, it's like it's called King's Highway for those who are from Brooklyn. Okay. King's Highway, that was actually an Indian trail. Okay. That was an Indian trail. And, it, later on when the settlers came in 1704, they changed those trails into roads and it became King's Highway. Okay. And let's see what else. in the when the Europeans arrived in the 17th century, um, the natives, they met the Canarsie natives there, and the natives, they didn't arrive until the 17th century, but the natives that were there, the Canarsie, they were there for thousands of years. Okay, and the Canarsie, they are an Algonquian people, and they speak a language called Munsee, Munsee. Okay, and they called um, they called the land, their land, Lenape Hoking, which means land of the people. Okay. Um, let's see, what else did I come across that's interesting? Um, let's see what else stood out. Let me see here. Yeah, I think that's the main. Yeah, that's pretty much like. There's a lot more to the Canarsee Indians, naturally. Um, and when I spoke to the lady who was supposed to be um, our guest, she was relaying some information to me about how a lot of them were forced to relocate. I think she said to Philadelphia, and also joining up with other tribes, if I remember correctly, her saying. Okay. And yeah, I think her grandfather, no, her not grandfather, I think either grandfather or her father actually spoke the language. Okay. And let's see. Let's see here. Yes, oh, there's another piece here that I had come a piece of information that I had come across too. Um, it says here um, that, okay, I'm gonna read it to you. The most horrific decimation occurred during Kieft's War, 1640 to 1645. William Kieft, then Director General of New Netherlands, wanted Indians to give up their goods without compensation. You see, the Dutch and the Canarsie, motivated by different cultural values, clashed. Naturally, That happened all the time. You know, when the Europeans came here among us. So it says here, the Dutch exploited the land and its people to create wealth, while the Canarsie enjoyed a spiritual connection to the earth and wanted to stay in tune with nature. Chief Panowitz, an influential and diplomatic leader of the Canarsie tribe, tried tirelessly to negotiate peace with Kieft. By the end of the war, Indian losses were just too great to recover from, and thousands lay dead. Okay. And another piece of information that I took in my notes says here, according to Canarsie Cemetery, Joel Skidmore, a tax collector for the town of Flatlands and later a court officer in Kings County Supreme Court, is one of the notable people buried in Canarsie Cemetery, 1370 Remsen Avenue. Skidmore, 1819 to 1908, is part Canarsie through his mother, Mary Robertson. The last of, according to, this is what they say, is the last of the full-blooded Canarsie died in 1830. Now, this is just what they say on paper. What you got to understand is a lot of times, you can't always go by what they say on paper because it's not always the truth, But at least that's what they have here documented, that the last full-blooded Canarsie died in 1830. Okay. It also says today a few of their tribal descendants live on the Puspatuck Reservation near Patchogue in eastern Long Island. The reservation numbered only 271 in the 2000 census. Hence, we have very little to remind us of those proud yet peaceful people known as Canarsie. Canarsie geographically has Brownsville and East New York above it, Jamaica Bay to its right, Bergen Beach below it, and to the left is East Flatbush and Flatlands. This neighborhood is relatively large, and before the early 20th century, most of it east of Rockaway Parkway is marshland, treeless, grassy land where water had covered it for a long time. Okay, and so yeah, that's pretty much the notes that I took regarding the Canarsie. Okay, um, and now what I'll do is get into some current affairs because, like I said, I've been, this show, we've been repeating shows for a while, due to COVID and stuff like that. So there's a lot of catching up to do as far as what's been going on. Um, Powwow season has also been affected due to COVID-19. Okay. I hadn't been to one powwow this year. Okay. The powwows have been virtual powwows online. Okay. Virtual powwows online. A lot of different native dancers and stuff have been recording themselves dancing, doing different traditional dances and stuff like that. Some in their homes, some of them in outside, like in parks and their backyards and stuff like that. And they've been uploading them to social media. Okay, up and people, that's really the only way for people to get that powwow experience. I know there was like I think one that I know of, one actual virtual powwow. I forget who did it. I had an idea to do the same thing even before I heard about that, but it's just a bit, a bit much, trying to get everybody on board with it, it's a whole new experience, this whole virtual thing. And one thing I can say is that due to COVID-19 and having to do things virtual and stuff like that, it's forced me to step up my technology game. I did learn a few things, I've been doing YouTube videos, pre-recorded videos that I've been doing at my home here, uploading them to YouTube and stuff like that. Those of you who follow me on YouTube, you've seen those videos. Okay. So I wasn't able to do that before, so I, yeah, I can, give myself a little clap for that, But yeah, it's definitely forced me to step my technology game up, and in that regard, something good came out of it. Okay, so yeah, that's one of the current affairs in powwow season. Um, I'm sorry, in powwow season. I'm bugging. Current affairs in Indian country. Let's see what else. So the Narragansett tribe of Rhode Island, like many other tribes, are hoping that the Biden administration and the 117th Congress um, will allow them to um, get um, their federal recognition. Okay, um, they want to have their land. I guess in trust. I got a lot of issues, with that. So I'll talk about that later. But a lot of their elders, had been waiting for a long time since they were like real young, you know, um, for that, you know. Um, so I read an article um, where it was talking about, let me see, I took some notes here. On January 20th, um, with the new administration, um, there's some things they made some promises um, that they would do certain things in Indian country. Um, and also, I know that it said here, let me see here, it said in 2009, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down their Carcieri versus Salazar decision. The decision is based on the 1934 Indian Reorganization Act, and um, Justice Clarence Thomas um, stated that as of 1934, um, well, actually, no, let me backtrack. Um, the decision is based on the 1934 Indian Reorganization Act, and the key phrase now under federal jurisdiction, that was the key phrase. And it said that Clarence Thomas stated that the now meant as of 1934 when the Indian Reorganization Act was enacted. The decision prohibits any tribe from placing their land into federal trust if they obtained federal status after 1934. The um, Narragansett gained federal status in 1983, approximately a century after Rhode Island had, they say, illegally detribalized them and sold off most of their land. Under the Obama administration, the Mashpee Wampanoag, descendants of the people who, as you know, assisted the Pilgrims, um, placed 323 acres into federal trust and um, put up a casino. And just a few years later, under the Trump administration, the trust decision was being reversed. The 116th Congress passed H.R. 375, and Carcieri fixed the bill, a Carcieri fixed bill rather, to allow all tribes to follow the land and trust process, regardless of when they gained recognition. And HR 312, the HR 312 bill to restore the Wampanoag Reservation to federal status in the House. Okay. So that was way back in May of 2019. Both bills died on a back shelf in the US Senate. Okay. So my whole thing, I've got issues with federal recognition because it's not true sovereignty. Okay. It's not true sovereignty. Um, if you're truly sovereign, then there should not be an issue with any pipelines being constructed on your land if you're truly sovereign. You see what I'm saying? Um, we have to start thinking more in terms of not receiving handouts from this government, and being truly independent. Okay. Um, the Dakota historian by the name of Meredith Musa Quinn, okay, he talked about this whole issue, and he actually was um, helping certain tribes to get out of this mess, with federal jurisdiction and having their rights infringed upon and stuff like that. And he was basically saying, most of these tribes don't know how to really set up to be truly sovereign. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, Russell Means, okay. Um, Russell Means talked about it, okay. Um, when he went over there to Hawaii, because in Hawaii they're having the indigenous, the Aboriginal people there are having the same type of issues. They're trying to, you have a group there that's trying to get federally recognized. And Russell Means, for those of y'all who don't know, former AIM, American Indian Movement leader Russell Means, he went over there and he told them, don't mess with that federal recognition stuff. He said, that's why my people back home in North America are messed up behind that federal recognition. Okay. So, it's, I know there's a lot of people, who, and of course, a lot of elders, who, been looking, for the day to be able to, have their tribes federally recognized. But you have to see this thing for what it really is. You see what I'm saying? You have to see it for exactly what it is. And you know, it until you become truly sovereign, okay? I mean truly sovereign, then there's always, the government is always going to be able to tell you, what you can and can't do on your own land. You understand? So, that's a little bit of food for thought there. That's another subject for another time. Okay. Um, Also, let me see. Moving on. Um, so another current affair is um, the buffalo. Okay. Um, the buffalo on the Flathead Reservation, um, they're having the buffalo returned to their land and to their tribes. Okay. Um, so, as y'all know, the buffalo was like a walk-in supermarket. Okay. For our people, you know, we use the buffalo. We use like every part of the buffalo. You know, um, naturally the skins. You know, for your coats and stuff. I'm using that term coat. Loosely. Um, you use the different bones and stuff, for tools and other things like that. Every the naturally the meat, the body for meat, the different parts of the body for meat, for sustenance. Um, plenty other things that the buffalo, I'm just, scratching the surface, and for the interest of time, because we only have a few minutes left, 2 minutes left. I'm sorry. But yeah, we can, at some future time, we'll go into the buffalo a little more deeply. But yeah, the buffalo, that was like, a major resource for our people. Okay. Um, let's see what else. Wish we had a little bit more time, but let me see. Let me do a time check. Okay, 2 minutes. 1 minute. All right. I got 1 minute left. So, you know, um, it is what it is. That's how time is when you're having fun. But we will be back. Next month with another show, and I do have a guest who has committed. This time is really serious about getting on the show and talking about. I'm not going to spoil it for you, um, but anyway, I have a treat for you on the next show. Okay, but I'm getting the signal now. There's 15 seconds left, so on that note, um, I appreciate all of my viewers, okay? And I look forward to chatting with you all on the next show. So until the next time, do the dog or honk eat.